So like, one of the things that we've been talking about a lot over the years is love, right? And obviously this is, Journey of the Heart podcast. And, just I guess like I'll start with that. Like, where did that name come from? Like why did we call it that? Or how did I come up with that name and stuff? And then we'll kind of lead into what we're going to talk about today, which is the concept of love. But, something that I've realized in my life is that pretty much my journey has just been a very long and challenging and beautiful and all-encompassing journey into my heart, into love, right? And whether throughout that journey you're not in your heart and you're more in your mind, or you're not, you're in the physical, or whatever it is, or wherever you are along that journey, I feel that ultimately we're just getting led more and more into ourselves, more into our heart, more into what I feel that we truly are, which is beings of love and light, right? um and so that's where the name of the podcast came from. And everything that we talk about for me is pretty much part of the journey into the heart, part of the journey into love. And so, obviously we've had a bunch of episodes already and we've spoken about a bunch of different things, some of them having to do with how to reprogram the mind, just a bunch of different things, right? But for me, all of this is part of the journey into our heart. And so what felt most aligned today to talk about was the concept of love, and just how that shows up in life, how that's changed for me in my life. And I'd love to hear about how that's changed for you in your life, the concept, the feeling, the experiences, and all that different stuff, right? Um, and then just, different terms that I've used over the time, and different terms that I hear people saying, like unconditional love, as if love isn't unconditional by itself. Like we have to start defining love into separate things, which is kind of funny when you think about it. You know what I mean? We all do it from time to time. And so just kind of getting more into that. And so how about we start off with you, dude? So like kind of a general question, but I'm interested to see what kind of comes up for you. It's like, so how has your relationship with love kind of evolved and changed in your life?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny you asked that because it was back like something that you asked me. It was a question you asked me really that really stuck with me and kind of cemented home the concept of unconditional love. Is back, what was it, like 3 4 years ago in New Year's, maybe 5 years ago now, whatever it was, when we sat down for the first time in a while and really had a good chat. And I was going through some relationship uh troubles with Roxy, and you just asked me, like, what does she have to do in order for her to love you, or in order for you to love her?
Mhm.
And so, like, that question, like, it kind of like caught me off guard because you know there are these natural things that I think most people would say, well, like, well, she has to love me, or and she has to show me, or whatever, like all
Yeah.
these natural things that come up. But like when you really think about it, it's like, what does she have to do for me to love her? It's like shouldn't have to do anything,
Yeah.
like I should just love her. It's like
Yeah.
the love should just be there. And it's an interesting concept, especially with people you just meet and strangers. And like the concept of unconditional love, I think, scares a lot of people, um in a lot of ways. But yeah, that's what I think of
Yeah, for
that moment.
sure. Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's interesting too, because sometimes when you're thinking about it as someone else, you know, interesting, sometimes you can think about it differently. But even to ask yourself the question, like, as as an individual, as you, like, do you want to have to like earn other people's love? Is that even love if you have to earn it? Because like if you have to earn it, then that means you can unearn it. Like it's crazy, dude. Like another way to ask the question that I asked you that day was just like, what does someone else have to do in order to be enough for you? Like, right? Um, and I think in relationships, especially relationships like anything else, man, they're an experience that we have. And if we don't experience them a lot, and like a variety of experiences. It can be really hard to navigate those experiences because just like anything else, if you haven't done it a lot, then it's really hard to know, right? How you feel about it, how to navigate it, so on and so forth. And so I know for me, like relationships early on, like I would make people earn my love, right? It would be like, you have to earn my love, you have to earn my trust. And that would mean that I'm judging you 24/7. So you can lose my trust and you can lose my love, which is crazy, dude, to think about. But ultimately, I was just super scared. And that's why I created that world, right? It was like, what I mean by scared was like, so if I am scared of losing you or losing your love, again, these are all beliefs and things I used to have. We can talk about that later. Don't have them anymore. But then ultimately, I would try to, in a way, kind of like distance myself by not getting too like, oh, I love you no matter what. You can't do anything wrong, blah, 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 blah. Right. And so I would create these rules within my life where it's like, all right, if you do this, I'm done because I don't want to be hurt like that. Right. Under the illusion, under the belief that someone else could hurt me, under the belief that someone else has the power to make me feel good or make me feel bad and all this type of stuff, right? And so it's interesting that you brought that up, dude. I remember that moment at New Year's when I asked you that question. And I asked you that question because I'd already asked myself that question. And it blew my mind and it fucking changed my world, you know. Um and so let's go a little bit deeper into it. And so that's what you remember in regards to like love now. But like how did that change? Like how did that change you? Like how does your concept of love now compare to your concept of love how it used to be?
Well, yeah, I mean, just that simple idea is like that I'm not asking anything in reciprocation because then it's not true love. It's not
Yeah.
actually love.
Yeah.
And then we can get into the definitions too. But like, yeah, there's all these things that people call love, but if you're loving someone and like expecting something in return, like then it's not actually true love. And so that was like something that really hit home for me and really, yeah, I don't know, I guess kind of changed my perspective too.
Yeah.
And like really hit true. But also just I can see some people um playing devil's advocate or whatever. It's like unconditional love. Well, what if the partner like becomes unfaithful?
Yeah.
And how
Yeah.
how can you reconcile that? And
Yeah.
so I don't know if you wanted to.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, let's talk about it. So, I can talk about it pretty much with my journey on love and because these are all things that I've gone through, right? So I've had quite a few relationships, like intimate relationships throughout my life. Long-term intimate relationships. Let's say like I've had at least 5 relationships in my life that were over 2 years, right? And so I've had experiences, especially when I was younger, right? Had experiences of what it what I thought was like, oh, I got a broken heart now, right? And then, oh my God, I feel better now because you love me again and I feel whole again. And so pretty much the cycle that I was going through when I was younger was not realizing my worth, not realizing that love came from within me. I think Ram Dass like has the best definition of love, which is pretty much what he says is like love is a place inside of me and love is a place inside of you. And when we are both in love within ourselves, then we're in love together, right? And I think that's the most beautiful way to think about it because and I didn't know that. Like I didn't understand that. Pretty much what I didn't realize was that these people that I was intimate with, they were just a stimulus that allowed me to feel into the place of love that was inside of me. They were just a stimulus. They weren't love, right? It wasn't outside of me, but most of my life, that is what I not only felt, but it's what I was taught, man. I mean, look at every fucking love song, man. Every love movie. Most people's relationships, if you look around now, dude, like you speak to most people about their relationships, everyone's judging one another. And it's just crazy, dude. So like that's what I saw growing up. That's what I learned growing up, and then that's what I modeled growing up, right? And so a lot of my early relationships, pretty much all of my relationships, besides the one that I have now, were anchored in this place within myself. I'm not going to speak for the other person, but within myself of like I am not completely whole I am half of a whole. And that other person I thought was the other half to make me whole. Right. And so if that's the case, like let's break this down because this is crazy. So if that's the case, if I actually believe and feel that I am half of a whole and I need that other person to be whole, how do you think I'm going to treat that other person? Like I'm gonna fucking like I'm gonna hold on to that other person as tightly as I possibly can. I'm gonna be super jealous if I think anyone else is trying to take this person away from me. I'm gonna be controlling. I'm gonna like there's so many things that come out of that belief system. It's insane, and they don't all have to come out of it, but a lot of them are going to come out of it naturally because you have deemed this person pretty much like needed in your life in order for you to feel whole and in order for you to feel loved, which again isn't true. But if you believe that, then it's your world. It was my world, right? And so it took me a while, man. It took me a few relationships of um people being unfaithful. I don't call it cheating because I think that's insane to say that someone else cheated on you. Someone else just did what they wanted to do, man. That's pretty much all they did. They just did what they wanted to do, and you didn't like what they did, right? And so, yeah, they got with someone else. They were with someone else. So I felt what that was like a couple of times, and I completely understand why there was someone else, dude. It's like I don't want to be with someone who was jealous. I don't want to be around someone. And so I take complete responsibility for that. I get that. But then I learned something really important, man, which was like, all right, I felt really upset at first, and then I felt whole again. I came to a place where I was like, oh, I'm fine now. I'm completely fine now. I didn't think I was going to be fine within the coming like the days and the weeks after the breakup, but then I was fine again. And then I had that experience again and again. I'm in love. Oh my God, this is so great. I'm whole again. We break up. I'm not whole anymore. And then like a few weeks later, a month later, oh my God, I feel good again. And so I went through this again and again. I'm like, all right, like, what am I doing, dude? What's happening here? And so I learned from those experiences. And what I learned was this: I don't need anyone else in order to be whole. I am whole. I don't need anyone else in order to feel love. Love is within me. And so if that's the case, and you start to enter the world from that vibration and from that understanding, everything changes, dude, especially relationships. Relationships change big time, man. And and my relationship right now with Kat is a beautiful example of that, man. I remember like, after the first couple of weeks of us being together, me telling her like, I don't need you. I choose to be with you. And I've told her that and continued to program myself into that ever since, dude. We've been together for like 14 years now, right? And that's things that we still say to each other at times, to remind ourselves and to remind each other of how whole we are, regardless. Because it's hard, man. It's difficult to, it can be difficult to be so close to someone and not become completely identified and attached to them. And so, in order to do that, it's important to be both like on the same page in regards to being able to receive that information. I don't need you. Some
Mhm.
people receiving that information would not enjoy it, right? It would be hard. Like my younger self would find that hard to receive from someone else, dude. But
Yeah.
now it's the most beautiful thing I can possibly hear, because when Kat says that to me, what I see is this: I see me. I see this beautiful being who's so fucking full and so powerful and so amazing, and realizes her worth, right? It's not about me, it's about her. And that's love, dude. That's love. I tell her, man, like, look, I love you and it wouldn't be easy, but I'll support you regardless of what you do. And I'll love you regardless of what you do, whether you're with me or with someone else. Doesn't matter, man. I love you. I don't love what you do. I don't love the actions you take. I love you, right? It's kind of what you were talking about before, right? With the question I asked you.
Mhm.
And it's been, man, it's changed my life. It's been a beautiful thing. I no longer hold on too tight. I'm no longer jealous. Um,
No, I
you
just
know,
love what you said about like, I love you and I not the things that you do. Like that's such a, I think, an interesting, quote concept. I
yeah,
love.
yeah. I mean, let's think about it this way. Like, is love an action? No, love's not an action, right? So love isn't what I do. So people will say, "Oh, but you can show love through your actions." Okay, cool. I can show love through my actions, but
Mhm.
love isn't an action, right? Cool. So it's like really important to understand that love is not what you do. Love is not what you say. Love has nothing to do, man, with this like physical world that we project onto ourselves and other people. It's nothing to do with that. Love is inside of you. And I can't tell you how to access it. I can't tell you how to feel it. I can tell you how I access it and how I feel it for sure. But that's my reality. And I don't want to project that onto you or anyone else. Right. It's like, it's
Yeah.
up to you to feel that. Maybe you feel it differently. I don't know. I'm not you. Right. Um, but I'll tell you this, the feeling of love, actual love, true love, not for someone else or something else, just love itself is impossible to explain. It's so intoxicating. It connects you to source, the one, God, call it whatever you want, instantly, because that's, I feel like, what God is. God is love, right? I'm not talking about any particular religious God. I'm just talking about God as the creator, as source, or whatever it is, whatever you believe in. Um, and to access that, to be on that frequency, things don't exist that exist on other frequencies. Judgment does not exist. Uh, non like not being beautiful doesn't exist, right? Like you don't look at something or someone and think that they are any more or less than something else or someone else. That doesn't exist in true love. Separation doesn't exist, right? Like you are that other person. That other person is you. You see them in the light of God. You see them in the light of truth. You see their full power. I was talking to someone about this the other day, one of my good friends, and I told her, I was like, man, something I'm so grateful for is I have the ability to see people in their true power, even when they don't see it themselves. I can see them, man, you know? And that's not to say, oh, look at me, how cool I am. No, that's love. That's love, man. You know? Um, yeah, dude, I could fucking go nuts all day on
Yeah.
this.
I
I get pumped on this.
yeah. No, I think it's super interesting too. Like when you say like love isn't an action, it's not what you say, it's not what you do. And a lot of people get hung up on those things. Well, you said this or you did this,
Yeah.
so you must not love me. It's like, no, it's not always true. Like I know I say and do things, to Roxy or, around Roxy that doesn't necessarily show my love, but I I tell her that all the time, and she knows that I love her, and I know that she loves me no matter what she does, no matter what she says. Like she says some very unkind things from time to time, and it's like it just
Yeah.
helped me so much to like hear that and like the concept of unconditional love and the fact that we've talked about it, it's like, look, no matter what I say, like I love you unconditionally.
Yeah.
Like, and so, but so many people get hung up, and I still find myself doing it all the time. Like, oh well, she said this, and I'll just be pissed off for an hour,
Yeah.
until I find that place in myself where I'm like, okay, I know she loves me unconditionally. She said something in a moment, and I do the same thing. I say things in the moment, and I hope she knows that I love her unconditionally. Well, I know she does, and
Yeah.
I know that she loves me unconditionally. So we're in a pretty good place, I'd say.
Yeah. You said some really interesting things, right? And so it's like, I think it's so interesting, right? So like once you become aware of certain things within yourself, meaning that, oh, I'm aware of when I'm attached and identified to something, and I create an ego and I express myself from that ego like frequency and space. So if that's the case, if I can notice that within myself, I should be able to notice it within everyone else as well, especially the people that are closest to me. And so it's interesting how like it's so easy when someone else is egoic or when someone else is unaligned to just like not treat them the way you would treat yourself if you were unaligned and then became aware of it, right? Like you'd want to treat yourself with grace and realize like, oh, dude, that wasn't what I wanted to say. That wasn't what how I felt. That you know, and instead of saying like, I'll just like instead of using the person's name, right, and saying, oh, you were like this, right? Like Kat, you were like this. Kat, you said this. It's like honestly, that really wasn't Kat's true self saying those things, man. She was
Yeah.
angry. She was frustrated, right? So like, why throw that onto her? Why act as if that is her truest expression? Going back to what I said before, being able to see people in their truest light, regardless of what they're giving you, right? Regardless of what they're saying or what they're doing, being able to see, man, like, oh wow, right now you're just so attached. I love you so much, man. I'll just give you the space, dude. I'm here for you, right? And then doing the same for yourself. when you're expressing yourself from a non-loving place and then you realize it, you have the ability in that moment to then express yourself from a loving, aligned place and say, hey, darling, what I said back then wasn't really what I wanted to say. What I wanted to say was this, regardless of if they're able to receive it or not, you know? And so I think that's super important. I know it's been
Yeah.
super important in my life.
No, yeah, 100%. And I'm kind of going through something like what we're talking about with the attachment a little bit, Roxy, as I shared with you when we chatted earlier. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, one of my sister's dogs randomly, kind of went after her in some random moment, left a little mark on her face, and so she didn't feel like she wanted to stay here
Yeah.
uh, for at least, well, for a few days, whatever the time she set a time frame. But so she took off. And so I was feeling a lot of those emotions like, well, she's going to let a dog, scare her away and she's not going to want to be around me. And so I felt a lot of those feelings. And, for a day, it was kind of still rough, still
Yeah.
going through that. But yeah, connecting back to the unconditional love. And we've had some really positive, great conversations and just trying to show her love in the moment when she's, not feeling safe and not, making decisions based off of that. And so, yeah, it's been challenging too, because of course I want to tell her maybe like you're overreacting a bit and that
Mm-hmm.
never goes down well.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And
but
so, like, have you found, during these experiences, during this experience, like, have you found moments of like you expressing yourself and then realizing you weren't expressing yourself from love, and then other moments realizing you did express yourself from love? Like, have there been those moments?
oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
obviously when I share like maybe you're overreacting a bit, I'm being selfish. I want her to be around me. That's why I have to marry me. It's nice having her around. So when she's not around, then I have, it's tough. But
Yeah, of
like
course.
exactly what we were talking about earlier, like I'm
Yeah.
whole without her and she's whole without me,
Yeah.
and just connecting to that thought and that concept has been nice, but difficult. Definitely difficult, especially in
Mm-hmm.
the first like day when it's like, oh, like everything I see, it's like, oh, okay, no dog. Okay, she took the coffee maker. Okay, she took the laundry basket. It's like, oh man, there's so many things that
Yeah.
keep reminding me that she's not here.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, it's yeah, like I said, it was a rough day, but again, it's funny how your brain can know these concepts, but for whatever reason, you can't necessarily feel them all the time. So
Yeah, which is why it's super important to be able to experience the concepts that we want to embody, right? The things that feel truest to us, this idea of like, I don't need you, right? Like being able to feel into that's one thing, but actually being without that other person in the physical for an extended period of time is a completely different fucking thing,
yeah,
you know? And can I sit in that space and can I still feel what I know to be true, which is I am love, she is love, everything is fine, right? I don't need her. Can I still actually feel that when it's happening, when it's real, when it's there, right? Um, and for me, that's when I've learned the most. That's when I've changed the most for I don't want to say the better, but um, that's when I've been able to transform into, a frequency, a person, an experience that feels more like me, right? That feels more loving, more aligned. I know last year I spent a total of like I think it was like close to 6 months away from Kat. And yes, it was challenging, but ultimately the depth of gratitude and appreciation that came out of that for Kat was insane, man. Like
yeah, it's like what
the
we talked about last time we chatted about contrast. Like
yeah.
offering yourself some contrast is, it's always so nice, being away from Roxy for a week or 2 weeks,
Hmm.
not that not being away from her, but it's always
Yeah, I know
nice
what you mean. Yeah,
getting
I know what
that
you
time
mean. Yeah.
and then having her back and like you said earlier, there are disagreements and challenges sometimes when you first get back, living with one person and sharing space with them.
Uh-huh.
But at the same time, yeah, in that time away, you feel so much gratitude and
Get to reflect, dude. You get
Yeah.
to actually reflect because now your physical reality is different to what it normally is. So now you have a chance to reflect, right? It's not that you can't reflect even when your physical reality isn't different. You can. Of course you can. But given that we are in a 3D physical reality, it definitely feels much more real, right? When you're actually experiencing that thing in the physical. Um, and so, yeah, man, I think that's something that, I would invite everyone to offer themselves is like, where as we continue on this road to awareness, as we continue on this road into our hearts and into love, there are going to be things that conceptually you understand that are contrary to the programs you have. And I would invite you to offer yourself the experience of those things that you are now learning, right? Whatever it is that you know to be true, that feels truest to you. If you truly desire to embody them, you have to give yourself that experience in the physical again and again and again and again in order to bring that into your physical body, right? And that's why we use the word embody. Um, it's so nice to feel love regardless of what's going on and who is around me and who says they love me and who doesn't love me and all of this shit. Like, it allows me to be me, like the best, truest version of me, and allows me to do that consistently long enough for then other people to choose whether they want to be around me or not, right? And whether they love me or not. And that's cool, whether they do or they don't, which is also really nice to not care. Like, and when I say not care, like, yeah, pretty much not care whether someone else loves me or doesn't love me, right? Um, Ultimately, that's up to them. And I've found that that can only come, and again, just talking about my experience, my life, that's only been able to be a reality for me when I was able to truly embody love within myself, wholeness within myself. Because as soon as that happened, then why would I care what anyone else thinks about me? If I know where I'm coming from and I know that I'm coming from love, and when I'm not coming from love, I'm able to check myself and realign and stuff like that, then man, there is no more regret. There is no more, I need to put this mask on to please that person and this mask on to please that person and all of this craziness, man, that I used to do. I need everyone to like me. Everyone needs to like me, like just crazy things, dude. And I don't think that we can truly love others until we love ourselves, like really, really love ourselves. Um, and that journey is different for everyone. Um, but something I would like to offer people is something that has really changed my life. I've shared this with you, Dan. Um, so on my journey into my heart, uh, one of the things I came across was Heart Math. All right. And
Mm.
Heart Math is a super cool organization that has been doing some unbelievable research on the heart. And they found out some really cool things, man. And there's some things that we're going to get deeper into on this podcast for sure. But I want to share something with you that's super simple and unbelievably powerful. All right. And if you can do this just for 5 minutes, 30 seconds, let's start with 30 seconds. If you can do this for 30 seconds, it allows you to realign. It allows you to ground yourself. It allows you to come back into your heart. It allows you to come back into love. Right. And you don't need to sit down and close your eyes if you don't want to. You just need to give yourself 30 seconds. All right. And so I'm just going to go through this with you real quick, and you can join in right now, or you can play this back later and do it at a time that you feel like doing it. But just a quick 30 seconds to get back into your heart. You can use this anytime. You can use this in the morning, at night, before or after you meditate, or as your meditation. A really powerful time to use this is during the day when you feel yourself unaligned, right? When you feel yourself angry or frustrated or whatever it is that you just feel kind of just a bit icky, right? Don't feel like your true self. And you want to realign, right? You want to balance out your emotions, create some resilience within your system. And so let's just get started. And so get comfortable, whatever that may mean for you in this moment, and begin to slow down your breathing. A good thing to think about is maybe 5 seconds in and 5 seconds out. Just breathe in a little slower and deeper than usual. And now bringing your attention to your heart or chest area. And allowing some rejuvenating feelings to enter your heart and chest area, like care for someone or something in your life, gratitude for someone or something in your life. Okay. Thank you for joining me in that. And so, Dan, me and you have done this many, many times, man.
Yeah.
Right. And so just share a little bit of like what your experience has been and um, if you enjoy it, if you don't enjoy it, why you enjoy it. Um, yeah, completely unbiased. And yeah, what's been your experience?
Yeah, I think I it was awesome going through, you were sharing your first lessons of the heart math with us when we kind of got started with that concept. And so that was really fun connecting every Sunday and really feeling into love um and just that simple exercise has, been a great tool for me in my life. And I'm not saying it works 100% of the time, but um, when you're feeling really bad or unaligned, it's an amazing tool. I remember feeling into our hearts, Roxy and I, before we would pack up and move when we were living in the RV, and how much more streamlined everything just becomes, and how much easier everything becomes. In our first few episodes of the podcast, connecting to the heart before
Mm-hmm.
kind of helped us through it.
Mm-hmm.
Even there were still some rocky moments, but yeah, no, it's been a really cool tool. And it, maybe if you're on one extreme, if you're like extremely frustrated and you're probably not able to quite connect to the heart at times. At least that's
Yeah.
been my experience.
Yeah.
But you know it's been really cool, and just like the feelings of really connecting to gratitude and really focusing on your breath and just giving yourself, you know 30 seconds or 5 minutes is can truly change your entire day. It, it's wild.
We really can, man. Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that. Um, my journey into my heart came because my mind no longer would work. I could normally use my mind to get out of sticky situations, right? Like, oh, just change my perspective. New world. I'm good now. And then I started experiencing things where that didn't work anymore. And so I started journeying further into my heart, and my heart has never steered me wrong, which has been amazing. You mentioned things like, oh, it doesn't always work and stuff like that. And I've experienced those things as well. And the way I like to think about it is it's not that it doesn't always work, it's just part of the contrast, meaning that my connection to my heart is something that I'm fostering. I'm building a relationship with my heart, right?
Mm,
And
yeah.
when I am in a completely different frequency that is not the frequency of my heart, then yeah, man, it can be challenging. It can be really challenging to then shift my attention, because where your attention goes, energy flows. And
Mm,
so it's not that your heart isn't there ready to help. It's more, am I able to actually shift my attention to my heart
yeah.
and actually get that energy from my heart, right? Or am I just so consumed with this other thing that has happened. And I'm just so engrossed in that energy field that it's like I can't even get my attention over to my heart for long enough. Way
Exactly.
too many thoughts rolling, dude, right? That's probably been your experience as well.
Yep.
It's definitely been mine, dude, right? Saying that, the breath mixed with the attention to the heart is really what changes the game. Slowing down the breath slows down the nervous system. Slowing down the breath allows you to come back to a balanced nervous system,
Mm-hmm.
right? And again, we can get more into the scientific stuff in a dedicated podcast to this, but generally speaking, allows you to balance out your nervous system. And then with a balanced nervous system, you can actually use your brain. You can actually focus on what you want to focus on. When we're imbalanced within our nervous system, it directly affects our brain. It directly affects our ability to focus. It directly affects all that stuff, right? Which is why we do things, say things that are just insane sometimes, right? When we're in that energy field, then later on we're like, dude, what happened?
Yeah.
Right. So it's a perfect example. I'm sure we can all relate to that. Um, but yeah, I mean, this topic of love, I feel like I could talk for forever, honestly, literally forever on this and just different examples and different things. But ultimately, I just want to kind of leave you guys with this. You are whole. You are loved regardless of the outside world and who loves you or doesn't love you. You already are love. There is a place within you that is love that you can connect to regardless of the outside world and other people. Notice it though, right? Like notice who is your stimulus, which people in your life stimulate that place inside of you that is love. You can use that to then connect to that place inside of you, but don't get it twisted. It's not them. It's not them. It's definitely you. They are a stimulus, but the source is inside of you. And I don't mean tomato sauce. I'm talking about energy source. You know what I'm saying? Right? That's inside of you. I
That
know,
was
I know it's my accent, man. Dude, my accent sometimes, man, it's like it's
that
hard
was
for me to
incredible.
say. It's hard for me to say those words differently. Source and sauce. It's
Worse than
not
salt.
source and sauce. Okay,
There you go.
source. There you go, dude.
Got it, dude. You
Yeah, I
got it.
got it. I got it, man. I just gotta embrace my inner American, man. Um, but the source is inside of you, dude. Right? It's inside of you. And so I understand how easy it is to confuse that. I did it many, many times. I'm sure I'll still do it throughout my life. But the truth is now known. I've felt it, I've experienced it. And it's really a beautiful thing. And that doesn't mean that those people that are the stimulus for you are any less important or any less beautiful or anything like that.
Yeah.
Right. That's great. Um, and so I'll just leave you guys with that, man. Dan, you got
Yeah.
anything?
Well, I just think it's the reason so many people have dogs. It's a nice stimulus for
Yes.
love.
Yes, dude.
Right?
Exactly. Exactly.
It can also be stimulus for fear. So careful.
Yes, that's true. That's very true.
Love you, man. Thank you for your insight and your words. It's been
Uh,
fun.
dude, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for always being so authentic and vulnerable with your experiences and what's going on with your life and sharing it with everyone because I just think it's amazing how you're able to do that. Number one. And number two, I just know how many people are appreciative of it that are going to be listening because we all go through this shit, right? And so I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right. Love you, brother.
All right. Love you.